flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All members are present. Can we get a motion and a second to approve the consent?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Grovey, seconded by Shea. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Next up, we have, for John Raston, County Engineer, discussion and decision to approve and authorize board to sign resolution number 68-2021 entitled Resolution for the Establishment of a Stop Sign at the intersection of Honeysuckle and Prairie Road.
So moved.
Okay.
I'll second it.
So, was it Wickman made the motion?
Is,
Seconded by Schultz.
John,
Discussion?
you're here. Is that county road into there?
Yeah, so Perry Road starts in the city, then runs out the county up to Honeysuckle, so.
Okay, but then north of there,
Oh, the little gravel stub there, is that what you're talking
going
about?
north, is that still a county road?
Yes. That hasn't been vacated, so that's.
Okay,
So this stop,
okay, that answers that.
this stop sign's on the south side of the intersection?
Yeah,
I
so
know.
we'll stop Perry. It kind of T-intersects there at the same time, but
Hopefully
there's
sure
no
don't
gravel
have
over there.
So
I
was
don't want
it,
us to abandon it.
so was there a request for a stop sign there?
Yes, there was.
Pardon?
Yes, there was.
So how does that work? I mean, does the neighbor request it or?
Resident request, and then we just kind of look at it and see if we have an issue. We've got a request, Neola 2 at L55 by Come and Go, and I can't figure out how to make that one work any better than what it does now too, so that's one I've been struggling with, but yeah, there's a request there and it made sense to do it.
Is that Peters? Up on Honeysuckle and Perry?
No.
But-
Okay, just wondering.
But it's not based on, you know, accidents or anything other than that, someone requesting a stop sign?
Yeah, someone had a near miss because it didn't get, the car coming off Perry didn't yield to Honeysuckle. And depending if they're on their left or right, I guess that depends who yields without a signal there or a sign.
You know, it's a T intersection, so for the most part, it's a T intersection, so it should be signed one way or the other.
Right. No, I understand.
Yeah.
Should the others across the street does it have a dead end sign on it?
I think so. We're gonna sign that one too, over there,
You're gonna sign,
that gravel segment as well.
To stop?
Yeah.
Oh,
so you're putting up 2 stop signs?
Right.
Okay.
So Honeysuckle will be a through road, so there'll be cross traffic does not stop or one of those little placards on there too.
So how far does the road go to the, what is that, north?
Quarter mile?
Yeah, that'd be my guess too.
Okay. But typically, the erection of signs and such is pretty much, can be driven by not accidents or things of that nature, near misses or whatever.
Yeah, if there's been a problem at the intersection, I guess we look at it. On our website, we kind of have a deal, you know, stop signs aren't the answer to everything, because there's a lot of intersections out there that don't have control on them, but they seem to be working with enough sight distance. I think there's some confusion of who has the right of way without the signal on 2 seal coat roads.
God, it's amazing we got along this many years and,
Yeah, probably.
you know, okay. Any other discussion? Roll call?
Chairman Bell,
Aye.
Supervisors Wickman, Groby,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Shea.
Aye.
John, I wish there was something that you could do that, Neola intersection too. I mean, I don't know what it is. I mean, the people out there have kind of learned to live with that the way it is for years and years and years.
It's gotten bigger over the years, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think the people who live out there got used to it. The people coming off the interstate are kind of the ones that mess it up, I guess. When they're coming out of Arrowhead and they wanna make a left turn, it gets kinda strange. They don't think they have to yield or, yeah, it's an odd intersection.
Well, we're talking about the come and go.
Yeah.
Well, that's not, is that in the city limits?
I think it is.
It must be, because I don't think we've ever done cigarette permits for that.
I don't think it is.
Well,
The
there-
roads are out there.
It should have had, you know, identifiable ingress and egress.
Right. We tried to get them to move those entrances to make a T intersection, cause that would've solved everything if they came into the same intersection, cause the access to that's up on that gravel road, which is kind of a bad plan altogether, but there's some buried tanks and they couldn't move that entrance.
Really? Huh. Yeah, that's, if they ever redo that, location, I guess, but if it's in the side of the city, I don't know that there's.
You guys wanna do a roundabout there?
Oh, wow.
I don't care.
Are we having accidents there?
I think we have some near misses there. I think, yeah.
I can see that. I mean, I've been there myself.
So like, they've done the analysis on that statistically, there's less accidents than those. They've got them all over, Johnson and I's got a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, they're less severe.
I
A lot
think
of
it's
trucks
just 'cause
coming out
people
that
get
way.
up there and they're like, what am I supposed to do? And they automatically slow down because they don't know. No?
Maybe we put some signs up and say, be careful, this
But
is.
if you miss your turnoff, it's easy to turn around. You just go to the next
Yeah, you just keep
roundabout.
going.
Go back.
Stay on the inside.
They slow you down.
Had a
As
stretch
much
of
as
the
a
one
stop sign.
the other day on,
It,
whatever that road is, Greenview, not Greenview now, with State Orchard.
Eastern Hills Drive.
Yeah.
That one seems to function pretty well.
it is?
Yeah, I've been through, well, just me driving through it and paying attention, I guess, I thought it worked pretty well.
Yeah, there's 3 other cars there and it seemed like it was fine when I went through.
Okay, next up we have, Jason Slack, Buildings and Grounds, discussion and or decision to approve, approval of courthouse addition project CRC, number
until I get
1, structural steel price increase.
Okay, well, this is a increase in the cost of the steel, $75,845. We had an increase in the structural steel pricing, the joist and decking pricing, and the rebar. And this is a total of that. McElhenney did not mark these up. They just passed the cost on to us. They didn't include anything for general conditions either.
Okay, are they locked in at this point?
Yes,
So there won't be an increase, there won't be a decrease.
that's what I'm told.
I'll make a motion to say, let's do it. We knew it was coming.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? I thought this was the second, change order we've had.
This will be the first, well, actually, we did have did we have a second change order?
Yeah. did we
The second one will be coming for the time extension for McElhenney because the lead time on the steel is longer than what they had anticipated.
I thought they brought us one right off the bat for, because we were like 7 or 8 days away.
Oh, there was a time extension, yep, there was a week there that we delayed voting. So I'll have to verify that with Kim over at HGM.
Okay. They took off, Friday. I do, so maybe they'll wanna be reciprocating to us. Okay, then the next thing up is elections parking lot.
You need to vote on this.
Oh, I'm sorry. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign, hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. Okay, next up is the parking lot.
This should be just a discussion decision for the board to, if you guys wanna let this go out to bid. The
We're
plan-
across the street over here.
Yeah, and this would be the alley area, the entire alley would be paved. The area west of the alley would be parking stalls. And then between the elections building and Regal Tower parking, there's parking stalls, it'd be a total of 50 parking stalls there. The preliminary opinion of probable cost was $246,100 from HGM. And this is a concrete parking lot.
So years ago, when we did the temporary one over there, there was something going on with the drainage. The city on the corner over here, the city wanted us to pay a bunch of money to fix the drainage or something.
That was in the Vets parking lot.
Oh, I thought it was on that other one.
No,
So
it
we're
was
looking
on,
at-
it was on that Vets parking lot. We had
They
to
wanted from what I remember, they wanted a storm drain installed in that elections area.
Yeah, we didn't wanna pay the money, so that's why we pulled all the gravel back off, so the hell of it, if I remember right.
John Jorgensen has worked out the drainage with the city on his.
So it's all in this. I just wanna make sure that's in here in this bid.
It is, he's got the drainage in here, it's all laid out in the plans.
Cause if we, yeah, I just remember last time if we were gonna keep that parking lot, we had to asphalt it or something, and then the city said in order to do that, we had to, yeah, there's a big storm
Just
drain.
like the Vets parking lot has a storm drain in it, just like what they wanted over there in that area when that area got gravelled.
Oh, okay. I'm not big on fences, but a wood fence?
Yeah, I'm not sure, it looks like he's got a fence figured in for the, probably for the residents there on the west side of that lot for
Right.
cars pulling in.
But I mean, you can do the cyclone one with the slats
Mhm.
and screen it just the same. I mean, that wood fence is gonna be a pain in the butt going.
Is that gonna be like a forever fence kinda thing, or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming we have to have it there probably for the residents.
Just for the headlights and stuff shining in there.
Yep.
I wonder, they've got that plastic fence too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we might look at
I don't like
doing
it.
PVC or something too.
Do we have to put a fence, or is that just a courtesy thing?
I think we have to.
Okay.
No.
I don't really care. I mean, it's just if we put wood in there, then you may have to deal with it every so often.
Right.
As long as you guys stay on top of it, it won't be a big deal. It's just a matter of what makes the most sense.
Some of them things last 20 or 30 years. Some,
Yeah.
something they get backed into, not gonna be very long anyway.
How many stalls will this give us, Jason?
50.
Can we get a confirmation on the requirement for the wood fence?
Yep,
I mean, I'm really not in favor of that wood fence.
okay.
You were in the fence company.
You're in, okay with a fence, just not a wood fence?
I don't know why wood fence it.
Oh,
For
it just,
courtesy to the headlights coming into the parking lot for the neighbor.
it'd just be that.
50 cars in
It'd
and
just be
out.
that west side, I'm guessing.
That's what he said.
For access to.
Right, yeah.
You know, it's gonna be used during the day, not at night.
At that point too, that was tough for residents.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I mean,
Jason, have you talked to the neighbors?
I have not.
Has anybody?
Yeah, Andrews talked to the neighbors last fall.
And what'd they say?
They said they didn't like all those people parking there. The drug house there on the south end of the block. And he's kind of he came over and gave the election workers the business one day last fall. reduce all the parking. So I think at least some sort of noise barrier down there might alleviate some antagonism within the guy. I
Well,
don't
and-
know. If he's still there, I don't know. But it was
And the fence would probably, like John said, would help, keep the residents from parking in there, be a deterrent. Make it harder for them to walk, you know, from their parking, or from our
So
parking.
what are you looking for today, Jason? Approval to go ahead and have HGM prepare the bid documents for that?
Yes.
Will those bid documents, provide the board with what we have to do for city requirements or city code for plantings or anything like that?
Yeah, that's all included in their drawings. So
I didn't see that.
their drawings have all been approved, by the city
Do
already.
we have a copy of those?
You should, yeah, it should be in one of the
Yeah.
past packets.
I don't see any, let's see, civil.
They're difficult to read on this,
Yeah,
very difficult, so, I mean, if you can get us a copy, I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
So you want a motion to move forward with the bid documents for the parking lot?
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
okay, motion by Supervisor Wickman, second by Supervisor.
See if we can switch that over to something different than wood, okay?
Okay.
Thanks, Jason.
And then
I think it's fair for a neighbor to,
This is where they want to put the fence.
from a maintenance standpoint, snow,
Headlights
we're
are
gonna have to haul snow out of there then?
right,
Right. More than likely, I mean, if it's a normal snow, we'll probably wind up just taking a couple of the parking stalls and piling it there. But if it's bad snow season, we'll have to haul the snow.
that ain't the one you're gonna give me, is it?
We're not, I mean, I guess that's the other discussion we need to somewhat have here. Those spots, we're not going to assign people spots.
That hasn't been decided yet.
Well, I know it hasn't been, but I mean, we need to,
I would just assume not assign them, first come, first serve.
okay, so how many assigned spots are we losing?
Currently, everything in the services building's assigned out, and everything on the north side of the annex building is assigned.
So are we losing those?
We'll be losing the services building parking lot for a period of time when the demolition is happening.
And those people are just supposed to fend for themselves then, is that what we're telling them?
We're gonna have to go down to the Veterans Affairs building and park, and there's not going to be assigned parking down there.
Okay,
How soon will this parking go?
The asbestos abatement should be done this week, so it could be as early as next week, when Jim comes in and, erects his fence.
Is there more asbestos in there than they thought?
They found a little bit extra around some of the piping, once they got
Okay.
the ceilings down, that's been taken care of, so,
And everyone's out of that building now?
yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna hit you up after this meeting. I wanna talk to you about something that happened this morning over there with Fort Cliff. I'll talk to you offline. So you said there will be parking on the west side of that alley then, basically, where
Yes.
the grass is now. So that makes sense why they want the fence there then.
Yep.
So they got 4 windows that face that direction, so when you pull in, your nose would be at their window.
well, I guess I'd be like to have, those people that are losing their spots,
That'd be me.
know that's you?
I never have had a spot myself. I'm parked in the alley today, over there.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe you just assign the ones along that house, along that fence. That way it's just easy to zip them in there real quick and,
Okay,
cause you're taking the signs down anyway off this building, right?
great.
You might as well just put them back up on that. Doesn't matter, you can park
What
the ones.
fence are we talking about?
Huh?
What fence is that? The new
This
one?
one you're putting in.
Okay. This parking lot probably isn't gonna be finished by the time we're closing the services building though.
Right.
It won't be too far behind, hopefully.
Hopefully. I mean,
It doesn't matter, I don't care. I don't need one, I can walk.
I just think that,
parking is gonna get difficult here. I mean, that's just the bottom line. I don't think there's any way around it.
I just don't wanna get in a situation where there are some folks that may have a little bit of trouble getting around and have the park spot where they do is nice. I know they're not quite ADA yet, but I mean, there may be some folks that are like that. We should probably think about that. I don't know, maybe not. I don't.
Well, I think so, cause when my back was hurting last week, I don't think I could've walked from the beds. But I'm all right now, but I mean, there's times that somebody's had a knee replaced, or their hips are bad, or
We won't
just
be-
walking from the election building, I had to stop.
Grim outlook.
We'll be done by winter,
Yeah.
won't we?
I would assume so. I would hope, for sure. I know concrete is, scheduled out pretty far right now, but we should be able to get it done before winter.
I'm just afraid if you don't do some kind of an assignment of parking spots, that we're gonna end up with the public or jurors or everybody
Yeah, I
else
guess that
parking
is
there.
true.
Well,
I just
I
don't like that.
I concur with that a little bit, but I think also that it'd be, because they're first come, kind of first serve, someone pulls in and, you know, these guys got better things to do and find out who's parking there, and, you know, we start towing Mr. Grovey's car and stuff.
They just give me a nasty note, put it on my windshield.
Reserve parking is probably a discussion that we need to have one day. I mean, it's difficult to enforce, but then when you have departments and employees trading parking spots, it's really hard to track. You know, and over time, it just gets out of hand.
Trading parking spots.
Yeah. So,
I don't know.
For what?
I think Jason's more than capable of figuring this out.
Okay.
I think we'll just let you figure it out and roll
Sounds
with it.
good.
If I gotta
But,
park somewhere down the street, I'll park down the street. I don't care.
Well, it'd be nice to have those ones along the street, to have those available too, but now they've metered them that were available before, but it is what it is. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign.
Jason, can they have that out for bid in a week or two?
I would say yes. I'll talk to John and I'll let you guys know. I'll send you a copy of the plans and let you know what HDM says.
Sooner the better.
Okay.
You wanna talk to him about the metal fence?
Talk to who?
Jason, on the bid.
I think he's got that, something besides.
Possible metal?
Metal or PVC, PVC is maintenance free too.
I just have them weigh all your options. You'll figure it out.
I know, I can tell you one thing that's gonna be a pain in the ass is those curb stops
Mm-hmm.
that they're wanting to put in there.
Yep.
I mean, if they put the curb back, whatever, far enough so the front of the vehicle, or whatever that is between there and the fence, I mean, the curb should work as the curb stop, but those are gonna be
Yeah, they're difficult to plow around and,
Can you talk to him about those curbs, or those stops? Let's get rid of them if we can.
typically on the curb side of the parking lots, that you don't have those, but on the, you know, those spots, you gotta have them so that they stand aligned. Don't run into shit, so, excuse me. Okay, next up, we have Matt Wyatt, Director of Planning and Development. Discussion
Jason.
and/or
Thank you.
decision on approval of job descriptions, positions, funding for Division of Public Health. Okay, Matthew.
Good morning, everyone. This is a continuation of what we have discussed a few different times. And in the leadership retreat that we did, I really tried to do my best to kind of point out, I felt like Mark from Conservation does have kind of a best practices thing going on with the way that they're able to promote a lot of their activities that they do out there. And so the first position, we really just kind of banked off of what Conservation is already doing with their promotions coordinator. that person would be able to run our social media, do press releases in regards to the different activities and services that we hold available for the residents, and really kind of elevate a lot of the work that public health is doing, other than the COVID activities that we had going on with our immunization program, our normal immunizations program, our STI testings, treatments, and referrals, our communicable disease investigations that we do, the environmental health inspections. We just ran our biggest environmental inspections of the year, which is the tattoo convention that goes on down at the Mid-America Center. And we were able to license and approve 47 different tattoo artists to be able to do their tattooing over the weekend. And so that's, it's items like that this person could really help lift up and show what the county staff is out there doing. Our water testing availabilities for county residents, radon testing kit, we offer radon test kits, all of those different pieces of it. And with what the Parks has been able to do with the promotion coordinator within the Parks, I think it's going to be a real benefit to the public health department on that. For the health equity officer, this follows right in line with the Board of Health adopting the resolution that racism is a public health crisis. And this health equity officer will really be able to work one-on-one with residents. And I do apologize in the staff report to this, I utilized the word obtain too many times. It should have read, this position will ensure that the residents of Potawatomi County are able to access the services needed to obtain a healthy lifestyle. And they will be able to not only work within the public health system of what we have to offer them, but then also with the health systems that we have available in our area. And then the third position is our quality assurance coordinator. We have, just from what you heard me just describe now, a number of different programmings going in a number of directions. But there are overlaps that happen in there in areas that we can improve upon. Being a new health department, there's always going to be those areas that we can improve on to help streamline a lot of our processes that we have going. This individual would be able to go through the recycling center, the environmental health, and the public health department, and really help streamline those processes and work towards our accreditation. That has been one of our goals, to ensure that we become accredited within the 10 years. It's a long process to go through, but we want to make sure that we hit that mark. My proposal for this year would be is that the public health department is going to turn back approximately $350,000. That was done on July 1 from last year's fiscal budget. In order to carry us through this 21-22 cycle, I just want to ask that the board would consider to roll over $275,000 of that, and that would cover salary, FICA, IPERS, insurance, and supplies for those positions until the 2023 fiscal year is budgeted for. So in this upcoming budget cycle, then the board would see these positions worked into that. Currently, we're making strides to improve in the public health front. We have gone up from 98th in public health outcomes out of 99 counties in the state of Iowa. We're now up to 90th. We are always trying to, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation puts out the different areas at which each county should try to hit on. And so we're reaching out for those different availabilities and programmings in youth violence. We also were able to get a CDC personnel that's going to be assigned to our office. That's going to help elevate us with the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation as well. All of that will coincide with those public health outcomes. And it really is, coming into these next 2 years, it'll be able to be an economic development factor if we can keep improving those public health rankings. Employers want to locate where their employees are healthy. And that's what we're trying to show. There's a lot of good things going on in Potawatomi County. There always has been, but there hasn't ever been that centralized office to do what we're doing now, which is to push those programs to the front.
So I have a million questions. I'm just gonna ask one. The 275,000 is what you're saying is essentially what it will cost for the next fiscal year. Or is that just to get you through to the, to 22-23 budget?
Correct.
So, okay, I guess we're already in the new fiscal year, so is that, are those positions now gonna be continued, this isn't like a temporary thing, it's not like a 3-year gig, and then these are done, these are forever?
Correct.
What is your salary you're looking at for this position?
So it's
Makes sense.
two different ranges. The promotions coordinator and health equity officer would both be a 519. The quality control would be a 520. So if you were to look at total salaries for the positions,
It's too premature for me to, we don't know where we can end up yet.
No, I'm just, okay, alright, sorry.
You know, man, I like the way you're looking at this. We don't have our fiscal year end of where we ended up as far as our cash balance was. I know we provided you, what was it, 400,000? And then didn't we give another $1 million?
in total, so
So, COVID or? Yeah, for COVID,
1.2.
1.2. So we already provided 1.2 that wasn't even budgeted for. So
Those were CARES dollars.
did we get 100% reimbursed for that?
You did receive the $1.2 million, yes. It was in the account.
Okay. What did the board budget, or what did the board provide to public health? Wasn't it 1.4 million?
It would have been 1.6.
1.6 million? And we got 1.2
You received in just over $2 million.
So is that where your 350's coming into play here, or is that different?
So I reached out to both Mitch and Becky there's rollover, at the end of every fiscal year, they send out the slip saying, this is how much money you have left residual
Okay, so
in
it's between all the line
Yeah.
items.
So there was $356,000 that was gonna get returned back from just the public health department. If you were to look over at the budgets overall, I have 5 different budgets, it was right around $600,000 that was getting returned back into the general. Or not just the general, it'd be the general and
You're
the
saying
rural.
before it would have been around 600,000?
No, it is. That's between the planning department, the animal control, environmental health and recycling center.
Yeah, I think we gotta start in our heads looking at it like public health is one, in our, just our minds, just so we're.
And
Yeah, I
it
get
is,
what you're
that's,
saying.
I singled it out. So singling out the Board of Health's budget out of that with all the funding that the Board of Supervisors provided to it last year, there was $356,000 that was gonna roll back into the general fund.
So you're saying these are generally unused dollars anyway, at this point?
Right, that was funding that went away starting in the new fiscal year started July 1.
Is part of that money the CARES funding?
Part of yes,
Do we have to turn that back, or do we keep that if you turn it back to us?
you get to keep it because the way that we justified receiving that $1.182 million was the state of Iowa allowed us to submit in budgeted salaries for public health and law enforcement. Nothing above, we're not talking extra overtime dollars or any of that. It was whatever was in our fiscal year budget of 1920. We got to submit that cost and that allowed us to receive the 1.2. So that was our justification.
Okay.
It's gone, it's done, that money is ours.
Melvin, when will we get our year-end balances?
I suppose whenever all the accruals are
I couldn't hear you.
paid up, whenever all the accruals are paid up, probably in a week or two, is my guess.
And you're just talking one position,
It's 3 positions,
3,
yes.
okay?
What the CDC assigned person
Mhm.
will be doing what?
Work for the CDC.
But I mean, okay, so we're just gonna provide space then? Is that what we're gonna do?
Correct. They'll be doing work for the CDC in the areas of focus that we have.
Okay, so how long will they be with us?
It'll be a 2-year program.
It's 2 years for sure. That starts,
As soon as they get the person onboarded.
and what, have they identified what those programs are that they're gonna assign that?
We identified them in our grant application to them,
Oh, you did?
yes.
And what were those?
The main focus will be on our sexually transmitted diseases out of the college.
So I gotta ask a question, I know this is right now, but I mean, do you have a organizational chart or something? Are there other positions that we probably don't have in public health down the line, or?
We do have an organizational chart for it, yes.
Cause what I'm thinking is like, okay, you got 3 positions here now that you wanna hire. We've already added one, epidemiologist recently. What other roles are out there that we don't have? You know, like that's kinda where I'm at, cause this is about 6 cents on our levy, you know, and we rolled back obviously more than that this last year. So my concern is that just everybody's growing, and it's great, but I also just worry that our tax base isn't growing with our growth in the county. So I just wanna make sure we're covering our bases, that's all, you know?
So the other roles that you see that will come into public health at some point in time, those will be roles that are covered through grant programs that are out there. When you look at, we'll just use Siouxland Health Department as an example, okay, and the different roles that they have out there. They have a dental program, a dental office that is all there and covered, but it's run under the iSmiles program that Family Inc. and Council Bluffs currently has. They have the WIC program that's underneath of them. We know that that's covered right now currently under Chris Wood, run out of the Omni Center. So because of the way public health was operated in Potawatomi County for so long, you see those different areas dispersed out. I don't ever see in the next 10 to 15 years, maybe even 20 years, Potawatomi County encompassing all of those things underneath of the division of public health that we have. 50 years from now, is that to say that it may look totally different, but all of those other programs are all grant-based programs that don't necessarily, and it's run the same way in Siouxland. Up in Siouxland, it's all grant-based, the supervisors don't cover those.
Should it be one house, you think, or?
There are portions of it that should be associated with it because of the benefits at which the grants that it has coincide. But, and they're coming closer to it just because of changes at the federal level. With the WIC program, this last fiscal cycle that came out, the feds came and said that if you're not associated with your Board of Health, then you're not gonna be able to apply for the grants anymore. And so Chris Wood had reached out to us and asked, she goes, are you guys, gonna apply for this, or is it okay that I go ahead and apply for it? And so she went, we were not prepared to take over anything of that nature yet, but in the next 2 to 3 years, will we be? Yes. I think we will be, and you want those WIC dollars because, what we learned from the other health departments is there's a lot of brick and mortar money that come with them.
Right.
And, right. So that's the reasonings on why we need some of those programs, but then we have All Care Community Health Center already has a really robust dental program. Family Inc. has their programs ongoing. So I don't see us getting into that area. We did just get the smoking cessation and tobacco grant. That was one that had been private entityed out, but was normally run through a health department. Our environmental health department has already been in Potawatomi County since the 1970s, and so that part of it is there. But normally it's encompassed with the Board of Health budget. Right now it's sitting out on its own budget.
Right.
The recycling center is kind of the same way. It's been out there for a number of years, whether it was a transfer station and now it's a recycling center, but normally those budget pieces are in with the public health budget, and it's out on its own. Animal control, same thing, it's a separate entity.
I guess really where I'm trying to go with my questioning with you is, how many, okay, we got these 3, but there's probably another 3 or 4 more down the line that we need to hire.
You'll see community health organizers come online, but everything that you will see come online will be grant-based.
Okay. So these 3 positions specifically are county employees county levy, it's not gonna be grant dollars to pay for it, it's gonna be tax dollars.
Correct. And my initial kind of suggestion for that was with those ARP funds that we could utilize some of those ARP funds and kind of step it in and do, 75% of the salaries one year, 50% of the salaries the next year, 25 the next, and then it's on. But that was kind of the direction I was given, was that no, we didn't necessarily want to use the ARP funds that way, so what does this look like if they're just actually budgeted in, and this is what it would look like.
So just real quick, if you got round numbers, the smoking cessation grant is how much?
I believe it was 48.
48,000? And then, the WIC grant that she applied for,
I couldn't tell you how much funding that is.
it's gotta be a big number.
It's a big number.
Does she provide WIC for outside of Pop County?
No.
Just Pop County? And then, you said you guys inspected and certified, 47 tattoo people is that this weekend?
Correct. That was $2,700.
It was $2,700.
Get a tattoo?
And not.
How, is that just good for the 3-day event?
Yes.
Okay.
Temporary establishment.
So then they have to come back and recertify it next year, or?
Correct.
Okay, even if they're local and have their own tattoo place here and,
They still have to pay the inspection fee.
okay. And then who is the accreditation people or person or department that we're trying to move our rankings from?
So the rankings are through Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. That's a national ranking that is done for every state, every county. That's what we're trying to improve upon. The accreditation process is through FAB. And FAB accreditation is what the state is currently FAB accredited at the state health department level. And then there are, I believe, 5 other counties in the state who are FAB accredited.
The state is FAB accredited, huh?
Yes.
Well, FAB is an acronym for something, I'm guessing.
It is, and I can't tell you what it is right now.
I sure believe that we need 3 people in this position.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we are still one of the smallest health departments in the state. And I think that these will definitely be a benefit to the health department.
Okay, 2 things. Me personally, I'm okay with the job descriptions, like they're fine, there's no issue there. I'm not okay necessarily moving forward with posting these yet until we know. I wanna get with Jana, and I wanna see, there's a lot of things I wanna see, but number one, our total number of employees, I wanna know the total number of employees that are leaving, total number of vacancies of positions out there. Because at this point, any new position is costing us 2 pennies on our levy. We already rolled back enough pennies plus what we did with raises and everything this year that I'm not even sure we're totally balanced at this point. So I'm hesitant to say, bring on new employees until I know I got others dropping off, So if we got someone retiring, for example, we don't need to backfill. No problem. Just realize that position's probably gonna phase out, and then it'll probably become public health or something like that. So I just wanna kinda get an overall view, because I don't feel comfortable right now with where we are with
The tax base.
wage. Well, we've always been okay. It's been great. We've always been okay, but I'm worried we're not okay. And so I think these positions are absolutely needed and necessary. I'm 100% back Matt on this. I just want to find a good creative way to pay for it, so that way it's covered. So I guess I'm saying yes, but I want to wait a little bit till I can guarantee I can pay it, us, not me, but the board.
Can you do some more work and bring that in next week?
It
Yeah, wait
really
for-
just needs to be Jen. I don't think Matt needs to figure that out.
Looking for county,
Auditor.
not just department.
I want
Every
countywide, because I know there's vacancies and positions that we don't need to fill, for example, that would free up enough to probably pay for one of these, and we need to prioritize, okay, do we want this clerk or do we want this public, relations coordinator, And I think that's where I'm gonna lean more towards the public relations kind of thing, but I just wanna
Matt,
find a
with
good way to
looking
pay
for
for it.
grants, these people looking for grants and applying for them, that could help us move forward quite a bit too, couldn't it?
We're constantly on the search for new grants and programs out there for us.
Do these fit in the bucket for, ARP?
They would.
And then are there, and I can't remember the number, it's a huge number that the state's still sitting on CARES dollars, aren't they?
I think they said that in the paper.
They've been sitting on CARES dollars ever since they received them.
Right. So you've not had any dialogue with them in regards to funding of positions or?
Nothing else. So, we normally get through the state local public health grant dollars, which equates to around 200 and, I think it was supposed to be $210,000 of our budget. We also then get our CRT grant funds through them. That's 163,000, 165 a year. Public health emergency preparedness dollars as well. And then, we have a grant through the Home Women's Fund.
Well, I'm kind of with Justin. I'd like to see where we're at for the end of this fiscal year. Find out what our funds, our balances did. I'm not in favor of funding a position that doesn't have dollars for the next year. And if you wanted to keep these positions, that's a 6.5% increase in the levy. I wish he would have came here with that in mind in March for us to be able to take a look at possibly funding that then. We don't have a long-range plan or long-range goal for where we want to be with the mental or the public health department, do we, Matt?
We do have a strategic plan, yes.
But what employees you think you're gonna need and that, that direction? I mean, how many employees have we hired since the pandemic in public health?
Well, if you were to count all of our disease investigation staff, it was probably right around 20 individuals altogether.
How many do you have now?
How many do we have now?
In the public health, don't count environmental and the.
Animal control.
9.
How many?
9.
So we had 0 2 years ago, right? Pretty much.
Well, yeah, 2017.
But of those 9, a lot of those are grant dollar funded positions, right? They're not actual county employees right now. I mean, yes, they are, but they're not. They are being funded by grant dollars.
Almost all of our positions get reimbursed except for one.
That's
Or
kind of, I
two.
think that's where we need to know is like.
We have 2 positions that really don't have any grant dollars associated with them.
How long will them grants continue?
Well,
Of course, we don't know.
local public health grants is one that you get from the state every year. It's been
Okay.
decreasing. The height of it was in 2009 during H1N1. Potawatomi County was receiving about $1 million, and it's gone down to where we're receiving $210,000 a year. The CRT grant, that's a 5-year grant. The public health readiness funds, that's another grant that just it comes every year of some amount. Immunizations, again, that's another grant that comes in. It's around $20,000. So some people's positions are covered like under multiple grants. And even Maria's position, gets reimbursed back to the county through some grants, not fully, but some portion of it. That's why for the public health budget, you will always see that large number coming back. At the end of the year, it's always gonna look like, well, why do you have $400,000 left in your budget? We have $400,000 left in the budget because these grants don't all run on our fiscal year. So the CRT grant has 3 different budgets that have to be turned into it because it's running on 3 different fiscal cycles. Cause there's money that comes into it from the Ryan White Foundation, there's money that comes in it directly from the state, and then there's, money in it comes from the feds. And so those grant cycles all run at different fiscal cycles compared to our fiscal cycles, so I have budgeted the employees in. And so then that way, if a payment is late on a grant, we don't have to worry about, well, is this person not gonna work for 2 weeks or a month because we don't have anything to pay them. So the pay for them is all there, and that's why it looks like we've always returned back $400,000, $450,000 gets returned back to the board on a normal budget year because those funds are coming back in on grants.
So how much of this 350,000 is coming back in on grants?
Well, that would depend on how you,
Well, so,
I mean, all of it.
if that's, it might not be cash carryover for you then, is that what you're telling us?
no, it's being reimbursed back to you. It was already. That's what I checked on before I came up here to make sure I knew that.
Is any of that $350,000 grants that pays for somebody else's salary?
It's revenue. It's revenue into the public health department.
Okay.
So, is it, so the balance, I think we need probably to get a better picture, public health, environmental health, the recycling center and animal control all need to be like sub-categories of public. So
They're all separate budgets.
they're all separate budgets, so, where we can actually see.
So public health the public health budget comes from your general line and general supplemental. Environmental health and the recycling center and animal control all come from rural services.
Okay.
Now, environmental health in that is returning around $100,000.
I think it would probably take us a week to get the answer that I need, so I think I'm fine with like I said earlier, the job descriptions, I have no issue with, there's no issue there at all. I just wanna figure out where we are employee-wise across the county, and then, once I know that, I feel a lot more comfortable going forward. So, I'm gonna give you about a week, if you can figure that out.
I don't know, Melvin, can you get the numbers to us in a week from where we're at?
You probably,
Financially?
It'd be damn close.
I don't know, we'll talk to Becky and should be pretty close.
Maybe
Maybe
the numbers matter, but
Becky
I
or
think
Mitch
when
can
I-
probably nail it down.
I wanna know how many vacancies John has, for example, that he hasn't filled today, and across the county, there's a lot of this going on. And I know a lot of these department heads are thinking about, so, perfect good example, Veteran Affairs last week had an employee that left, it's a part-time employee. So, do we need that part-time employee anymore? So like, that's the kind of questions that I have, so if we can find a bunch of vacancies out there that normally we're budgeted for, that we don't need, this is a lot easier to say yes to, in my opinion.
So then, if you feel comfortable that if those positions are out there that don't need to be there,
Well, if there's a vacancy that hasn't been filled in the last 3 years, then yeah, we don't need the damn thing, it needs to go away.
Right.
and I don't think that's out there, but, with this,
I'm looking at John, because I disagree.
He's got ones that like mow the roads.
Well, I mean, there's vacancies out there that have not been filled for years. Some of it's just been department heads trying to be, proactive.
if we don't find anything, that's a 6.5 cent in, about
I'm
6
with you.
cent, okay.
And that's where
And
we have to,
we don't even know where we're gonna.
no, but then we have to decide if all three of those positions are what we want, and if so, maybe we take advantage of ARP for now until, maybe not, I don't know. I'm just saying
How much of those
I'm not telling you no,
positions-
but I wanna see what the big picture looks like right now.
How much of those positions funding will be through grants? Is there anything there?
Right now, none of them.
Okay.
But that's not to say that there's not IDA money out there, the economic development dollars that could pay for some of it.
I mean, part of it is, I mean, that was some of the reasons on why the counties got direct American Rescue Funds was for positions like this.
Was what?
Was for positions like this.
Like, the governor's got a whole bunch of healthy initiative program, I can't remember what they all are right now. There's a bunch of them out there that otherwise could be seated in one of these positions, but right now it's going to like a separate little nonprofit that's doing the job. I'm trying to think of what it's called right now. There's one out there. Gosh darn it, I have a friend that works for it, but anyway, there's like Healthy Iowa Initiative or something.
Live Well is one I.
Yeah, it wasn't. I'm gonna look it up and tell you here in a second, but yeah, I think there's ways we can get it grant funded, or at least mostly grant funded, but there's never a guarantee. And that's why I just wanna know where every picture, so that if we're not grant funded, we can keep rolling or not. Cause maybe we can't get grant dollars for this, and maybe we don't have vacancies, and maybe we tell Matt, you get 3 years of these people, you know, something like that. Because there's still benefit to having that even
And
beyond.
then with them working the grant systems, how much will that save on other areas of your department?
Right. And that's kind of one of the original things I come in and asked for, was just designating some of those funds to give, you know, it'd be 3 years that we knew we could have these people. Well, it'd be 3 years, I think, that the health department would benefit from it. And raise those rankings up as high as we can, and if we can find other funding in those 3 years, great, we found the other funding and carry on a while longer.
Healthiest State Initiative.
How often do they come out with their rankings?
They're yearly.
Yearly?
Mm-hmm.
I just can't believe that we're ranked where we're at. Because there's a lot of counties in Iowa that probably don't even have a public health person. They're farming it out to somebody. And how they're filling out, or who's coming and scoring them, or how that happens.
I'm sure a lot of them are underreported, and
Right.
they don't have.
We're making big strides. I mean, already, I feel like jumping up 8 already is a really good jump for us to kick it off, and it's just a matter of banking off of that and keeping it going.
What year did we start the health department in Pot County?
Realistically, it's more, you know, we started conversations in 2016, but 2018 was probably our first full year.
Okay, all right.
Do they give like a recommendation report of things that need to be improved?
Yeah, they give you like a highlight. This is the kind of areas that are most prevalent.
Problem is, we have a very significant amount of poverty in our county, specifically in part of the city, and a lot of it's centered around where services are provided. And so we're getting all these numbers and statistics that feed into these numbers, and some of them, for example, might be transients that are still counted as a Pot County resident, you know, like, so I mean, the reality is, you compare us to Johnson County, we're probably exact same size, but they got the University of Iowa Health Clinics, and they don't have near the poverty that we do.
Right.
So, it's just it
And
sucks.
it was a few years ago, but there was a law enforcement study that had come out showing, you know, council, like the city of Council Bluffs, I think in particular, was like horrible for it. And it was a data reporting error. It was the way that they were gathering their.
Reports,
Yeah.
war crime.
Well, this is a lot in the same, to where it's a phone survey that goes out, and because people didn't know a whole lot about the public health department and what they offered, then that's where you get hit kind of low on your rankings. And then the number of reported events of youth violence, the way people answer their surveys with alcohol intake on there was another one. Alcoholism's a big problem in our area that they looked at, so.
I would venture to guess if you cut Council Bluffs and Carter Lake out of our map and then ran that, we'd be in the top 10.
But I mean,
I'm just being, I mean, it's just the reality of what's going on.
Well, if you can get some of the things they asked for, and we can get a couple answers in a couple weeks here, probably that flow chart and how that
I'll help you.
works.
I think I can help you get a good picture of what we'd like to see.
carry over and stuff. Where we're gonna go, so. Okay, so
You know,
we're,
if it's positions that we really need, then we need to fund them.
right,
We pay for them out of one-time monies. It's not the, I don't think that's the way we go.
No, unless we can't afford it, then we just do it for a timeline, you know, because then at least you get the benefit for so many years. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't disagree, but whomever gets into these slots needs to realize that their time could be limited, you know, if we go down that route.
Yeah,
or can we,
and then
or,
I'd like to see some kind of a direction of where you think public health is going, and, you know, instead of coming on an agenda and ask for 3 positions, say, you know, this is what I expect, or this is what I envision public health to be in the next 5 years, and put together some kind of a directional map or plan that says, gives the board some kind of an idea of what you think needs to be done and what direction we need to go.
well, you know, in the interim, as you build, can a person wear 2 of these hats and, until the time allows and we have the funds to get single hat people or such, I don't, you know, depending on the person's skill set and their background and stuff, I guess, so. Okay, so we're just gonna basically table this until, for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I guess 2 weeks fair for you?
Think about the answers by.
I think we'd have the answers in a day. I just need
Cruel.
to sit down, probably you two.
Well, the accrual numbers is what we're really looking for.
Well, yeah, you'll need that.
Well, I'll
for-
check with Becky, and maybe Mitch has got some stuff yet, but I'll check with
They just
her.
need to get the year-end numbers done for the fiscal year, and then we'll, but I think we should talk to each other. I mean, so the number of vacancies versus budget should talk to what we have in money, but
Mhm.
I don't know, we'll see how good we do there. No, but to your point, that the Healthiest State Initiative, it's a 501c3 right now that's receiving all these dollars to do the very thing that that second position you talked about is doing. So, and they have 10 employees that do it nation or statewide.
There's another group out there, Unite Us. Unite Us is doing, some of that work as well in the area where they're lining up different organizations.
Matt, are you familiar with the Center for Health Disparities over in Omaha?
So is there a person signed up?
Since you were talking about health equity, don't know if they would be any resource or not.
They're involved in our, Wellbeing Partners group. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, just moving right along,
Thanks, Matt. Well,
Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
We need him to stick around for this, capital plan
Yeah, Kim.
deal.
yeah, if you come back, well, I mean,
Well, we'll be there in a second.
Yeah.
okay.
Discussion and decision to approve a payment of fiscal year 2021, 2022 ISAC membership dues.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Is it the same amount as last year, actually?
Yeah, I don't think,
So,
they didn't raise the dues. I think it was the same. Raised them a couple years ago.
Yeah.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, discussion and decision to approve payment fiscal year 2022 matching funds for Iowa Economic Development Authority funding for the Western Iowa Tourism Region for $500.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Who's running that now, Scott?
Who runs it for?
Used to be that gal from Central.
No, no, it's a gal from way up.
Western Iowa Tourism.
Western. This is the West region.
Yeah, Kathy Fiskus.
She would have been
She's
our,
not.
she would have been maybe our rep on.
Oh,
that.
she was just, yeah, she was the rep on that, committee, but it's,
It's ran-
Shirley Phillips up in Sac County is the director.
Carol, I
Who's
thought.
representing us on that board?
Was it Mark?
Mark might,
Mark
and
Eckelman, I think.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, now we have Mitch K., Finance and Budget Director, discussion and a decision to approve capital plan. Mitch handed out.
I think all you guys got a copy, I got two extras here for me, all you want.
yeah, I looked at it.
What's that?
What's that, wish it was easier, I'm getting a little more.
We can I can put the big screen up here.
Put it up on that.
Because it really is. Sharp these are on there.
See what's on this capital.
You have another one?
Yep, I got one more right here.
Thank you.
A lot of big numbers up there. Same deal.
You ready? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, so basically what we have here is, from our study session that we had last week, just kind of putting everything into the different buckets of where they're gonna be paid for. Basically, the balance is what we get on our fund balance report for this column. So that was as of July 1st. These committed funds are projects that we have already bid, and there's some other things as we work through it. You'll see that I threw in the committed funds. They might not be bidded out yet, but they're things that we have to do. These are some of our other things that we're planning on doing. So this is kind of the actual plan for 21-22 after everything put in here. This is just some other wish list things that we haven't really put anywhere, and there's just kind of initial discussions on it right now. So I'm gonna start in this land fund to start with. And anybody can stop me if they have any questions along the way. But like I said, this is kind of gonna be just a kind of a repeat of what we went through last week, so. The land fund, this is what I have for committed funds.
Hey, just real quick, Mitch, and maybe back on that first one, we should put an asterisk, somewhere and add, cause there's really another, 9.2 that's coming into this year.
Yeah, that'll come in right at the end, like middle of June.
Comes in December, I thought.
No, it's a year apart.
So I thought they.
No, it'll be like end of May or first part of June, so I don't know if for the 21-22, if we wanna use any of that in these figures.
No, well, I thought it had to come in December
No,
this year.
it's a year apart.
That's what I kept thinking.
So we got this first batch,
It was like May 22nd or something like
Okay.
that, or May 15th.
Okay, one more quick question before you get going.
Yep.
Does this account for what could be coming in for gaming? Or is
No,
this just
it
basically
is not,
today?
it's not in there.
Okay, good.
Yep, so that's still sitting out there.
That makes it a lot.
What was that you asked?
This one
Well,
point.
we have gaming stream coming in. I don't,
Right.
Yeah. no,
not necessarily mean we're gonna get the same amount, but,
So that's.
Oh,
why I
there you
said
go.
that
Okay.
asterisk is down here.
sorry.
Okay.
It's not in
Missed
there.
that.
Yep.
So if you have another 1.5 million coming in, you add that to your bottom line at the end, that makes you feel a little better.
Yep.
It's just difficult here and with,
Yeah.
okay.
So, like I said, some of these are still yet to be discussed, but this is, kind of where we're at on everything. So here's the shooting range.
Shooting range is at 1.5?
I have it, yep, the expensive 1.5 here.
Okay.
And then the sheriff's addition was 3. So because, like I said, I took a little liberties in some of these, so things can be moved. But because of, with the ARP money, because we're expanding square footage, it can reduce the spread of COVID. So to try to break this out, I did a million out of what we consider, our general fund or whatever, and then 500 coming out of the ARP money to pay for our other 1.5 for that portion of it. This is where the seizure fund is that we've discussed. So if we took out some of their, the 1.5 out of their funds, this is how I kind of arrived at all these on the revenue side, so.
How come we have 1598 on there then, if we're doing 15?
This is what's currently in it,
That's their budget.
that's their balance.
That leaves him just shy of 100,000 in forfeiture for
Yes.
what he needs for.
You guys, is that going away? Have they ruled
It's
that's
already
going-
gone away.
It's gone, no more?
Yeah, so I mean, at this point,
Okay.
that money is what he has to pay for
That's it.
things, and
So,
and we're not doing the
Where are
enforcement.
you showing the revenue from the drug forfeiture fund?
so there is 500,000 of it here, and then 1 million of it here. So I did a million for the addition and 500 for the range. And then,
Yeah, it's a wash, but
and then this 500 is from ARP, and then
What's that for?
I just took it out of there because we're expanding square footage. So it's a place to find or to use 500,000 from our ARP funds. And we don't necessarily have to use it there, but that's where I pulled it from, so.
yeah, actually, that's a good thing.
To split it that way, right?
More, I suppose.
Well, that frees up 500,000.
Right, for other things. The B ring,
But that's not gonna lessen the commitment from the drug forfeiture
no,
fund?
it's not. It just pulls money from that rescue fund and moves it into somewhere where we can spend it here for infrastructure type deal. That's what it does.
That puts that 500,000 back in land fund essentially is what it
Yes,
did.
that's what it's doing.
And we didn't have all of our ARP money allocated anyway from that, what you got there.
So, and then, so this is what we're gonna get reimbursed back from the B wing. Is 1.672, because those were all the expenses that happened after, I think it was March 10th. Because of some of the reimbursement resolution dates, we only kick back 60 days. So that is as much as we can capture back.
So we thought it was 3 million, so you're saying it's 1.6 now?
Yep.
Okay, so not big.
So that's coming out of the revenue's coming out
That
of.
puts us in the hole there.
Well,
I mean, just
close.
technically.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's why I worked through, that's why I found that extra 500 was good.
1.3.
Follow me, Justin?
Yeah, I got you.
I do.
Okay, so, and then the secondary roads, I think this is the building in Hancock, I believe.
The 700,000?
Yeah, or is that something different, John?
No, that's.
It should
That's
be
a dirt.
2.2. I
No.
think there's several funds mixed together there. So 700,000 I pull out of local option to pay bonds back, so that number's familiar. And I don't know if that 5 million beginning balance is my total balance in my fund. Is that what that is?
No,
This doesn't have anything to do with secondary roads fund.
No, this
Oh,
is the
okay.
beginning balance of,
Oh, you have a
so this is running,
cumulative there.
yeah, so this is
Okay,
running
sorry.
totals, yep.
Yeah, we're 2.2 deep in the building in Hancock now. So the seven.
It doesn't have anything to do with Hancock. This $700,000 is gonna go to help you build
Okay, this is
the.
outside of my bond series.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
So what's this for?
You need that?
Yes.
Yes.
Um,
Oh, taking it back.
let's see, I think we bonded for 8, is that correct?
Have the authority, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the engineer's estimate for the operations building was about $1 million more than what we had authority to bond for.
So that's where we're going with this then.
Yeah, and he's been able to cut some other things out, so his discussion, and make sure I'm getting this right, John, is that $700,000 would make that building happen.
Yes. I mean, steel, wood, yes, we have lots of money in certain things, but yeah, we're on target from where we are now.
Okay.
That land fund?
Yeah, this is all land fund. So then we talked about putting this figure in there for the bike trail deal, and then the bridge at Arrowhead. So these are things that are pretty much guaranteed to happen, or are already happening.
We haven't given anybody the go-ahead to do anything on this, right? Except for
Well, we've committed the sheriff.
the shooting range. And, you know, I'd like to make sure that when we're done with this today, that John has it in his mind to move forward with the plans for his building. Arrowhead can move forward with their possible bridge addition. And
Where'd that number come from for Arrowhead? Mark gave us that number?
Yeah.
Is that,
All condemnation.
is that gonna be a steel deal?
Yes.
So
Secondary road.
all those are contingent on basically us getting,
Well, I'm hoping that he's reaching out to the foundations too, to see if we can match grant that.
I'm sure that
He normally does. But
You know, and that's with secondary roads doing the abutments for the bridge. They did the abutments for the last one, the previous bridge.
right.
And I think they can do it for this bridge too, right, John?
Yeah, we can't set the bridge, we don't have a crane big enough for that.
Okay. So we're saving some money there too.
So I know this was kind of, I didn't know if I should put this down in the wish list, not currently available, but I could throw this property in here too as well.
I did run into her at that speaking event that night, by the way.
Speak up a little bit.
I talked to Marguerite briefly at the I did an event last week for
Trainer.
trainer, and I saw her and I talked to her briefly, and I said that we'd like to maybe sit down and have conversations again with her, and she was all about it, so. She's like, absolutely, let me know, give me a call, so
Okay.
she seemed very interested in.
Okay, so there's those,
Now that's not in here, Justin. Oh, yeah, this.
Yeah,
yeah, so I've got that here on the,
not
but not
obligated.
planned, it's kind of planned, but it's not obligated to anything yet. And then this is kind of some of the wish list stuff that we had discussed too.
What's that say right there?
Hitchcock expansion, it might look different on your sheet, but,
I'm looking at this,
Oh.
making sure you have everything.
yep, so you know what that one, we know what that one is.
And yeah.
Is there any, who talked to,
He's
nothing?
replied to any of
Okay.
us.
So if you take all of those numbers, and even including that last part right there, what do you call that, the wish list?
Not currently available list.
Yeah, if you took that land fund balance of, what is it, 8 million?
Well, it's 5.8 plus these added back
We were
in.
figuring that reimbursement on to get that 5 to 8 million, so it's not even 8 million, so we take 5.8 times what? Or 5.8 plus what?
Well, plus
One.
plus 2 million, plus these other ones, like 6. I mean, all said and done, if you want, if the number you're looking for is probably this number right here, Tim, because this is 417.
Is that a positive number? Or?
That's a positive number.
And, you know,
What
two
about the
things,
1-3 we
the
missed?
Marguerite property is may or may not happen if you go up a little bit more, Mitch.
Yep.
The bike trail condemnation, I do not believe it's gonna cost that much. It would be about 2/3 of that. Last,
Where you at there?
This one.
so,
Yeah, and then, this was the kayaking, thing was an early
30,000.
discussion too.
yeah, and then actually Mark has some plans on that too, that I think may be able to save us some dollars there.
What's that?
on the kayak marina stuff, because he's got some existing areas already that we could kind of utilize for that. It's basically making a kayak trail on Mosquito Creek. So,
Yeah.
I'd leave that number there though, I think
Oh,
that's
yeah,
good.
I wouldn't change it.
It's plenty.
Going to move over to gaming.
So when does, okay, yeah, let's go to game.
Okay, so this was, I don't think I have a whole lot of anything in here yet. So this is what's currently in the fund, the 2.1 million. The only thing that we've discussed as part of capital plan is the RV park that we ballparked at $2 million. And then keep in mind, we should have maybe 1.5 more coming into that,
That was
maybe.
that swag was based on property acquisition and outfitting it to have all the hookups, modern, all that stuff. Again, Mark has said since this meeting that he had some opportunities with land we already own, so that number may come down as well.
Okay.
But again, I mean, we got another 1.5-ish coming.
That's,
You know.
man, that's sitting good.
Yeah, I don't think that,
Is Mark around? Can we get him too? If you don't mind.
you know, the discussion that Mark had with us was that I don't think that it would cost, I don't think it's gonna cost us much.
I don't either, but that, like I said, when we first did this, that 2 million was based on what the property was assessed at, and then plus what Mark said it cost him to do the last expansion, so. And then since then, in passing, like I saw Mark out in the parking lot and said, hey, I got an idea, and said to you, same thing. So, I think we got some opportunities with stuff we already own.
Another meeting, do you guys need me? I can try to reschedule it.
No, we got you covered. Have a good day, John.
We'll be cutting
So,
stuff.
John,
Okay. Well, I'll move on to the rescue fund until Mark shows up, I guess. So this is broken out two different directions. So the main amount that we got and received already is this 9 million. Now, according to the calculator that the Government Finance Authority put out, and then going off of our audited revenues, I believe we're entitled to put into the lost revenue provision 2.9 million. So basically what I did is I subtracted that out and started its own area over here. So this is basically the money that can be used for anything in all reality.
4.1.
So
Right, because we lost that.
4.1, where are you getting that?
that's the number they're using it, you can't. I don't know that he's got that up there.
He doesn't, he's got 2.9.
what?
The 4.1 they allow you to use.
It's 4.1% based off of what you should have grown in revenue, and we didn't grow that much, so we could use 4.1. So that's how I
You
arrived.
factored gaming losses in there too?
It's all one deal. You can't break that out. It's all.
Okay, so it's 4.1% period.
It's the county as a whole, minus any state grants or federal monies that came in. So that's what, I took those lines out, and this is what I come up with.
Okay, so that's just another basically
You
gaming
can
fund.
go, there's two paths you can go down, and this path is, in my mind, the easier one to,
Yeah.
you go down
And then-
rather than itemizing it.
And each year, they let us recalculate at what our anticipated 4.1% should continue to be through 2024.
Next year, that could go up a
So-
little bit.
So we could get another shot of 2 million move from up here down to down here. Now, also keep in mind, we have another 9 million that will come next
Basically
year.
going from restricted funds to unrestricted funds.
Yes.
Because it's loss that we
Yes.
could otherwise use for whatever.
Exactly.
In the grand scheme of things, though, if you stick with that 9 million,
Yeah,
that's what we have.
that's nice to know. I mean, you can,
Yes.
if you wanted to spend $2.9 million on something, you could without having a bond or do whatever.
Yeah, so that's where I threw this down in here, was that first
Well,
phase.
Oh, shoot, John, we should ask John that.
Yeah, he left.
So, yeah. And that came from the report that he gave us,
Okay,
that had the
Well, that's-
breakdown.
Yeah, was off this deal.
okay.
So that's where I pulled that figure from.
Did you get a good look at that?
Yeah,
Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I don't, which number did you use off of that? I missed that.
The only one I missed, the
Oh,
one I
you
wish
used-
I'd like to see, I mean, I know we don't need to do it now, but ask them.
You did the one,
Pass that down.
6,900?
Yeah.
This is a Dumfries deal.
I thought it was more than $1 million.
Well, I think the next phase was like 3. Then third phase was, I don't remember how much that one was.
Well, that's, I think we should.
Oh, that's where you
include-
pulled the sheriff's information, okay.
Yep, that's where it pulled, yep, that out.
Or should we include all of those phases for that development out there on Dumfries? I mean,
You're
I don't think
talking
we-
up to 92?
no. There was, 1 million and then there was, what does that say? Is that the one that had the price on it?
I think
Yes.
410, 576,
Yeah.
84, 228.
The
There's
total
3
thing
million.
is, yeah, 3 million,
The 92, from 240 to 92, or sorry, Pioneer to 92 is a stretch that I don't really think we should. I think we put that on the back burner for a while,
Why?
because there's 0 farmers that have intentions of selling any property along that, so all you're doing is paving road for 6 households. Unless you're trying to get traffic out of there, which is,
That's
You can make
one
that
thing
argument.
that really concerns me. Yeah.
But that, in theory, and some of this is gonna be timing wise, so with that second phase, would that start within the next year?
well, the other thing, yeah,
No,
you could look at, yeah,
the second phase.
I don't know, whatever your phase, what you think phases are versus what I
Oh,
do.
this is phase 1, phase 2, phase 3.
You could also hold off on that until these developments are in and the TIFs and all that are over, because then now we've got growth and tax base to pay for that stretch of road. You know,
I think we're dumping a lot of traffic
I
there.
don't think they're that ready to, this year, they're gonna do much out there. I think there's
Hughes is
still a lot
gonna
of.
do, Hughes Construction, whatever, they're gonna do the 9 or whatever it is on the corners and around the outside.
Right.
That's going to happen, that's already.
But I think there's a lot of dirt that has to be moved on the other piece,
Oh, you're talking on the Heartlands
yeah.
deal?
Okay. And like I said, I'll keep this as an updated list. We can always add and subtract stuff as things go,
Have you, let's see, we're at, what fund, that's not the gaming fund, you're at American Rescue Fund, which fund?
Yeah.
Yep.
So you took the 2.9 out, and then you rolled down, and then you took the radio sheriff's expansion out. So you still have the 2.9 plus the 1.3.
The whole cost of that radio upgrade through our ARP funds?
It's an initial discussion. I think from what I've heard, is the city of council buses are probably gonna handle their own, but probably to help out some of the volunteer fire departments.
We need to get,
We need to get an exact figure on that, yeah.
we need to get Andy and him to,
Andy and Bob and everybody else in here to figure out exactly where we're at. I mean, I'm not ready, I mean, it's fine to put this on our plan, but, I'm not ready to commit $5 million for it.
Alright, can you go down a little further then, so loss. Okay, so help me understand, Mitch, you put 2.9 in somewhere,
So
is that
this is up here, so this is the lost revenue, here's the 2.9. So,
minus the Dumfries, so you're at 1.8.
yeah, so I'm at the 1.8, so that shows up back down here, because we don't have anything in here yet.
Okay, so you have 2 balances there, 1.3 and 1.8.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's with that
Look at
5
that
out.
sheet right there, would you?
This
We all got that email, yeah, that's, that third phase, that gold area, isn't that what you wanted seal coated?
Just plain seal coat.
Yeah, so that's gonna take that 1.0 to about 1.6, 1.7 million. For phase 1 and 3,
Oh, Dumfries, you mean?
yes,
So yeah, add 576 to that, Mitch.
Yeah, 5.76.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, just 576, 700. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
third phase of putting that.
This would be Dumfries Ave. I don't know.
Yeah, he's got it down as third phase, but
Okay, so phase 3.
phase 2 is 240th.
At 3 million?
Yep.
Where's he paying for that at?
Well, we haven't doing that
So
yet.
phase 2 is probably up in the air.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes better sense. You just have to factor that number into your calculation there, Mitch, and you'll be good to go. Perfect.
Okay.
You're saying that's the third phase, right?
Yeah, but
When?
if you now,
What's the timeline?
I would do it now, because you're already working on that stretch, you might as well knock it out.
All right.
And even that, well,
What?
that last stretch on Woodland, but I think we need to have more conversations with developers before we do anything with that piece, that 410.
That was part of the second phase.
Right.
Okay, I wanna move over to the urban renewal bond, and
Can I see that?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
So here's, Woodland Trail right here.
so this is the bond that'll get sold later on this month. And I think we get the actual funds in August is the discussion, is when we should get those in. So here's that 1.672 reimbursement that we discussed earlier.
Yep.
So this leaves us with that 10.3. There's the original bid, and then here's what Jason brought forward today. I put it in at 79,000, but we know that's now 75, 76.
75,845.
So that's where that shakes out at.
What's that, what's that 130,000?
July
That's
19th.
the asbestos removal and the demolition of the service. I think it was 100 and then 30,000 were the breakdowns of it.
Okay.
37.
So there's those. Here is where we're gonna find a location for it first, but somewhere on the campus. Here's the 3 million we're thinking for the public health building. 500,000 to upgrade the chillers here in this building. This is where I pulled the 250 for the parking once the building is down.
Can we do that? That's not part of our urban renewal, is it?
What's that?
No parking.
No, over there.
No, I'm talking about where the services building goes down at. We'll have to reconcrete that.
Yeah, that is it.
That'll be in the urban renewal.
Yes, over here.
Yep,
Oh, okay.
yep. Sorry, I put it as armory parking lot.
Yeah, the armory.
And then I assume we'll have some parking lot construction and costs here as well, so. It gets us to 346 remaining, and then we still have 4.9 that we've approved, so we can get another bond for 4.9. I don't know if there's any sense to do that until we spend these down.
Matt, where you at with your, public health building?
RFP, still same place.
When's that gonna come in next year?
We're starting from scratch, so
Well, I just, you know, once this construction, the whole thing turns around real quick. If it involves steel or something, I mean, I don't know if it can happen in this budget year.
But I'm glad we didn't do the whole 16.9 million to start with, because we'd just probably be sitting on that money for a long time and paying a lot of interest, so.
Right, but I mean, if it's, the steel thing is just.
Yep.
pushing even this one, out.
Any other questions on that?
I'm good.
Well, we certainly wouldn't take that money and use it somewhere else.
No, I'm not saying that, but,
I mean,
it's,
hopefully it comes relatively soon. We can get moving on it.
no, but I mean, these other ones that have steel components to it, you know, may have to go into the next,
Did you turn the page?
if the bids don't come in or they can't
So they're on this,
deliver.
on this 2021 bond series page, so these are the new ones that are getting issued in July and funds will come in August. So there's really not a whole lot of discussion on these. These are what we sent them out for. These are the amounts. You know, nothing's been spent out of them yet, so this is pretty straightforward. We got about 40,000 extra run over in it, so. If anybody wants any more information on that, or just go ahead and move on.
I'm good.
There's no, see, there's no, steel required for any of those. Really? Are they already been, these have already been bid out and stuff, haven't they? I thought the IT 60,000 was for new, upgrades for us here, for all the Microsoft.
I think it's a combination. I think there's like 20 of it going to Hitchcock's, 40 of it's, I think there's a combination. I think some of it's for Hitchcock and some of it's for office upgrades, or Microsoft Office upgrades.
Suite or something, yeah.
Yeah, so I added those together. It's still just in one bond. It's a little more open, so we can use it back and forth.
He should be working on that now.
Office 10.
I would hope. David. I mean, the money's there.
Yeah, and so these get a little bit different. But this is, I think this was as of July 1st. This is a spreadsheet that Becky keeps, so she might be able to help me if you guys have some questions on this. But basically, these are the budgeted amounts of the bonds. This is what's been spent so far, and so this is what's still available. Obviously, these projects are still underway and ongoing, so I don't think there's anything to do with these funds yet. These are still relatively new for them to get spent. We'll see, you know, how things get spent down the next year or so.
Well, it'd be, good to see the percentage of those, what, sheriff's vehicles. He hasn't done anything with those. I mean, how many vehicles was that? If the jail's done. I think the jail's all done, isn't it?
Yeah, it very well.
Yeah,
Could be,
probably
it probably is.
And then,
that sheriff vehicle, that should have been 300,000. Why was it? I don't
Ain't this is the stuff that's already spent. Is this
So,
the truck?
yeah, that's the road deal right
Yeah.
here, right?
No, I'm talking about the sheriff vehicles,
The 300
the
was on the
150,
previous.
the 150. Where'd that number come from?
I think
Um,
that was because the year prior, we paid for something with a bond and we left the money in his budget. So we split that. He had to pay for half out of that money that was remaining, and then we took the other 150 out of bond. Because we were gonna bond for it originally.
He hasn't spent anything.
I don't know, we should look into that. That was weird. You remember what I'm talking about? Like, we bonded for something,
But I think that
and
was.
then he left the money in his account, or like left it in his budget, and we didn't catch it till the following year. And so then I thought we only bonded for half, and then he was supposed to, so he may not have even used these bond funds, we might not even realize they were there.
Well, let's don't tell him.
We still use it for,
Okay, so,
it's 3 pennies back, I suppose, but.
So we got, excuse me. That security access software equipment is, maybe there's a bill pending or something. Can't imagine we have that much available.
26,000?
No, 325.
Is your spreadsheet off a line?
yeah, it sure looks like it, doesn't it?
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
What's that?
Bids.
What?
It is.
The spreadsheet's off a line.
That makes a difference, cause he spent all of his 300 right here. That makes, yeah, hey, no, first time,
Oh, really?
first year, didn't you guys?
There we go, okay. So that 150 is something different.
So now you got your cars back at 300.
Oh, that, and he spent it too. All right, now, okay, I can live with that.
That'll make sense. Okay, my bad.
Okay. Well, we still got 325 left in that. Security software and access, I can't imagine, can't imagine there's that kind of one in the new building that we're doing. This has all been buildings,
Hey, we just haven't been billed for it.
that's why I'm wondering if it's a timing thing. And then,
The attorney overspent his.
pardon?
Nothing. I was just making
And
it
then,
smart.
what's the, he hasn't done anything with the entrance and the county road, parks, county parks, roads, county parks,
That's gonna happen this year.
which one is that? Is
That
all of
was,
them?
yeah.
They're just doing overlays or something?
That's, I'll probably make a mistake, but, I think it was at, Otten Bend and Narrows. Was, Mark wasn't here, Jan, I take it?
He was not here.
I mean, we have that information, I probably
Yeah,
have it.
this is only a year old, so I mean, some things that are yet to come and things, so. Now, the kind of the little more interesting one is this one, where, I just took the bond that's done. I didn't give a breakdown of where all of them were exactly at, but this is what the balance is still in that as of July 1st again.
417?
Yeah, now on the spreadsheet that you sent me, Jana, that has this kind of pieced out, it was like 360,000, is that still waiting for like the recorder? Is that what the question is on the recorder, is digitalization?
Yeah, excuse me, they're wanting to see if they can spend some of that money on a camera for passports.
Okay. What the question was. So my thinking is that basically almost all the projects are done in this bond series. And so this is what's really left.
What was the total bond for that series?
I don't remember.
And this is the leftovers.
Right.
Is that the last one that wasn't the last one we did, was it?
Oh, no, this is 2018. So there's that 360 stuck, but here's where everything's at.
The bond was for 5.2.
Yeah.
What didn't get spent there? Mitch?
So on the spreadsheet that they track through, there's 357,000 left. Now, on our fund balance sheet that we get reported to us, it shows the 417. So I
Right.
think that's the question with some of the digitalization and some of those things. But I think most of these are all done. So like, especially the big ones, like here, like the first floor remodel, the basement remodel, these things are done or can now be used in the urban renewal bond. So my thinking is why I prepared it this way was to take that extra that's left and do the reallocation of the bond.
On for 300 with that one, too.
And take care of Lee's project, the election building parking lot, and then the gym and office equipment the sheriff's gonna need after his expansion's done. Thought those were just good places to finish using those funds up at.
Can we repurpose those funds for that, Becky?
We'll have to get a hold of Jason Comiskey, and he'll have to do probably a hearing to reallocate it, yes.
Well, we have to do something fairly quick, don't we? Are we running out of time or?
Yeah, he's aware that we're working on getting something done with it.
I don't see any issue with that at all.
Those were all for general corporate purpose, weren't they?
I
Have to
believe
check
so.
the hearings, Matt.
Parking lot.
Mitch,
What?
you have to check the hearings for those and see.
There's a 250 for that parking lot that frees up.
Essential, yeah, they all look like they're essential.
Frees up that out of this.
Right.
What was the last bond we did did we do one last year? What was,
2020A, we did.
what was do you have the rate there? Was
I
it,
don't have it, I'd have to look it up.
The rate?
yeah, was it one,
Oh,
was it under one?
it was under one, it was
One
like,
of them was like 3/4, and one of them was like 3/8, something like that.
So, I think with, your guys' kind of approval, I think me and Becky move forward with working with Jason to get this reallocated so we can take care of these projects with what's left, so.
Will that spend it down to 0?
That will spend it down to 0. So there might be a
Like that.
little bit of extra here and there.
It's not,
They're still in there. There's that extra money that you see off of your report. Let me see.
all you're doing is lowering the amount you'd spend on an urban renewal bond.
1417 is the balance.
For the 50,000?
Well, if you took that 417 or whatever's left there, I don't know what it is. If you took that and reallocated that to put the parking lots are originally coming out of urban renewal, so you're
But
really
not the
doing-
Veterans
Not
Affairs
that
building.
parking lot.
Huh?
Not the Veterans Affairs parking lot.
Ah,
Not
across
that
the
one.
That's what I'm talking about
There
paying
you go.
for here.
Yep,
Yep,
never mind.
elections, sorry.
Election, yeah.
Elections,
I
yep.
Got me confused there.
Well, you had that 250 listed under urban renewal, that's where I thought that was coming from.
No,
Yeah, perfect.
Then I have a miscellaneous tab here that's not figured in the summary. It's just some of the other things we talked about. So if we want to find a home for them, that's fine, but I thought this was a good place for now, so. I think that covers everything we've talked about in the last couple sessions we've done this, so.
I like that, using the rest of that bond.
Yeah, the tiny homes will probably get wrapped into the veteran, or the RV thing Mark was talking about, so.
How many did you think we'd have out there?
I would just do a few at each site, do
Yeah.
4 or 5 at each site or something, so if we have
Well,
3
maybe out
RV
there.
parks, you got 15 houses or something, call it good. Because the reality is like, if the goal is to try to get these folks off the streets, get them rehabilitated, you've got, say, 50 of them out there, and of those 50, maybe half are even likely to be able to be reintegrated, just given mental health and substance abuse and stuff like that.
Well, I think Mark just recently started on that plan for some of this, and he's probably not even ready to even bring it to the board. I mean,
I think we talked, for most of these, there should be price and matching funds and stuff out there too.
Oh,
So, I mean,
there'll be, yeah.
if not, just full grants for them, so.
Let's get that damn bike trail out to
Because
Neola.
the good news is if we can get like out Western, if we can get their shop class to build the damn things for us,
That'd be cool.
that's gonna work out great, because now we got all kinds of grant dollars that are gonna help support that,
What do we do, just buy the materials?
We just buy the property, and then these other folks will build so like out Western, for example, the students would potentially build a house, and then we might have to pay to move it or something, but I'm sure every bit of that, we can find grant money to help reimburse it. And then we put the veteran in there, there's actually reimbursement grants for the veteran that come back to the county too, so it'll pay for itself.
Sounds good.
Checking.
5 years, it would pay for itself possibly twice. This is kind of the model that originally went through. So. And if we got one that's working out really good, maybe we just keep expanding it, I don't know, it just depends.
Is there anything else you guys want me to add or elaborate on, or?
After redistricting, we might be looking at 2 more voting machines, 2 more precincts. And I think they're about,
25 grand?
I think, she said, guess they're somewhere between 50 and 75. I never got it. So we might be,
Yeah.
yeah, the ones that are out at the polling places, yeah. So we might be looking at 150 there, but you might be able to take it out of the lost revenue.
Yeah, lost
So
revenue.
we'll just have to wait. We probably won't know until September.
Yeah, we got that extra 1.5 in the gaming too. That's gonna be coming in.
That's good.
So,
That's awesome.
And I might be wrong, maybe they were only 25. I
Tally
can't
up
remember what she
does your
said.
dashboard tally up the total investment?
In the summary, that we talked about.
Yeah, it's like how much are we actually spending versus what we have total?
If we do get 2 more, I gotta find a place to put them.
For 17,865, is that your number?
So if we spent
If we did all the projects that are on this list, do you have that
every
somewhere?
project on the list would put us, we'd have a balance, so we'd spend 30 million.
30 million?
Yep.
That's incredible. And that does not include your last page though, right?
That does not include the last page.
Okay,
so,
that's pretty awesome. 0% increase for the taxpayers,
trail.
That's pretty freaking awesome.
based on, the American Rescue first batch of money, the odd item out really is, the radios, right?
Right, yep,
So,
that's why I have that in the,
but that still leaves us, let's just hypothetically say, yeah, there's the radios. That still leaves us almost 2 million of that rescue money we have to get rid of.
yeah, you'd have 1.2 and then 1.3, I think, hold on.
Yeah, so we could almost go 35 million.
Yes, 1.5.
And then you got another chunk coming next year.
What did you say?
Yeah, basically 1.5, you take this 1.344,
Right.
Matt's
and then
scheming
this
over there.
1.2 in the lost revenue section.
Okay.
I don't know if you all have been reached out to yet by any of the small towns. I know Trainer reached
So
out to
what-
me recently about with some of these, would the county be able to help them with some road projects that they have going on? We talked about this a little bit in the past before, about even potentially that one, going back to that Carson project, seal coating the road coming out of Carson, to help them with that housing addition that they have going on there. Trainer's looking at something similar on doing an interior road for them to help them with continuation of the housing additions that they've had out there. Each one of those projects would help grow the tax base of the county. So would the board, should the board consider working with some of these small towns to partner with them? They're gonna put in some money, we put in some money, and to get some of those projects to help them with those roads that they need to build more houses. And that,
100% in for that. You said
Little
that-
ARP funds
Gotta know what they
on the
cost.
road?
Only the lost revenue portion.
Hey Mitch, go up on that page, will you? That one right there, okay, so what did we change?
I'd like to see some numbers, Matt.
We added that.
What they want.
5,844.
We added that dump freeze in there, third phase,
They'll just
from
be
whatever
better.
hard paper you
Okay.
have.
The towns will have to
There we
come to you
go.
all.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have numbers for their projects. They just,
I know, but they would,
yeah.
if they could.
I think Trainer wants to come to the board here soon and potentially, and talk to you all about what they'd be looking at. And we've gone out and we've talked to Carson before. The Carson part of it would just be us as the county seal coating the road, and then we got Carson agreed to take over maintenance of it.
I think all those are great ideas, just need to know what they cost, and I
Wasn't
think we can
that-
talk about it.
Was it the Frenchie's Edition, wasn't that annexed? It's not annexed.
Frenchie's Edition is annexed, but the road going to it is not.
Right.
If we seal coat the
Oh.
road going to it, then they'll annex it in, and then
That's just like that Macedonia turn off on 92. I mean, that's another one I think we really need to consider getting a turning lane there. I mean, that's just dangerous, you know what I'm talking about, that?
Yes, I do.
The further
Last time
west
I was
entrance.
by there, I thought of what you were saying about that.
Well, I
Well,
thought,
if there's nobody coming over the hill, you can always pass them.
I think Neola
Yeah.
is doing a housing addition up there that, as well.
Well, and even this Pioneer Trail, the one that you brought up before, I think that's worth taking a look at again too.
Yeah.
So
so I think there's an opportunity potentially with,
Well,
Iowa West in these small communities too, I think.
Exactly. You know, Golden Hills RC&D is working with those small towns to see what their
Right.
plans are for development. And that, I expect that there's a possibility that a road improvement could be part of it. And those funds are separate. They're in a separate pot of ARP funds that don't have any restriction on them. So,
Yeah, I think we just pull out all stops if we can, I mean, if we
Those
can
are
all.
different funds, Tim, than what we're talking about, what we'd be talking about partnering with communities for. You're talking, the economic development funds, so that's that Golden Hills, Advanced, working with the grant coordinator, hopefully to get this all put together. Those would be different projects than the road projects that I'm talking about, that some of the towns would have.
does it have to be?
Yeah, I think it's a great way for the county to partner with them on it.
We do, but those funds can be used for that, can't they?
I don't know that you would go for road funds for housing, no. Maybe your water infrastructure, sewer infrastructure, yes.
I'm sure we all have a little slice of that pie that we could help with, I mean.
And I don't mean fully fund the projects, it's just a portion of funding to help them out, to help them push it over the edge. Because you've seen these small towns, they get projects so far, and then it's just like that last bit that they can never get to go make it actually happen, so they just give up on it, they walk away from it. Well, this will be an opportunity for you all to be able to say, well, we have this funding mechanism that if you have that little bit of a project that needs it, or we know if it's out there, there's some funding for it, let's make it happen, let's get it done.
And we have in the past, and, you know, towns have came to the board for that, like Walnut, we spent $200,000 in Walnut. I can't remember the numbers on all these roads, but, we partnered with Oakland to seal coat a road. It had a special name to it. It was on the, I don't know, south side of the city limits.
Elvin Bridge thing.
We're paving L55 coming out of Minden. That's part of that city limits, we're doing that. We did participate in a road project in Trainer. The Carson one, the last I recall was the city didn't want to take care of the maintenance on it. So, and I don't know if it went any further than that.
I'm open, honestly, I'm totally open to this, if there's, I mean,
We're
we
gonna
just have to
grow these
look at
little
it.
towns, we need it.
and just to point out to, we don't have any exact figures and stuff like that, but having a plan together of what different areas and towns need would be good, because this was that bill that's gonna get passed. And this is showing how much money's coming to Iowa out of that, like 1.3 trillion or something like that. And it's gonna be for repair of roads, bridges, and that type of stuff, so,
But this is the infrastructure bill,
yeah.
you think it's gonna get passed?
I don't know, I mean,
They, on the way in here, they were on the radio again that they were real close on making a deal.
Okay.
it, you know, goes every day, it's back and forth.
Yep, so I mean, this, yeah, if it has power, water, sewer, it's kind of the same as some of the ARP stuff, but there is a big thing in here for bridges, so. So yeah, 110 billion going to the state of Iowa.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, when we redid Railroad Highway through Underwood and Neola, the county picked up the entire cost of that resurfacing. Usually they stopped, the county stopped at the city limits and the city took it over.
Yeah.
We took care of the whole thing all the way through. So it's not like we're not doing anything for our small towns, we're doing everything we can that is brought up, so.
Yeah, we get an idea what they need.
Well, let's see what we got.
I think most of those, I wish John was still here, but most of those are, roads that were TJ'd to us, and a lot of them are also farm to market roads that we did, you know, so.
Well, and if they were less than 500 population, it was our road anyway.
Right.
But I don't know where Minden and Neola,
No, they're more than that.
are they more than 500?
Oh, yeah.
We just took them anyway.
That's where Minden is struggling now with, I think, with the road out for that new, they got the ground and I think they got it all subdivided and stuff, but it's all the infrastructure to put in for the housing and stuff.
How many houses?
I wanna say it's like 20,
15.
15.
Yeah, I think it's right, 15.
It's right there when you come in from like the interstate side off that road, whatever that one is.
L55.
L55.
So I think, I mean, there's good projects out there, and I don't mean to insinuate that the board has never helped out in the past. Of course we've helped out in the past, but it's just, there's more opportunities still out there to do some of these things, and
We keep talking growth in the county, and I think the key is these little towns.
it's gonna have to be for the more affordable priced homes, because you're not seeing a $250,000 house in the county. You're not gonna see anything under that. We're back to big houses that generate a lot of tax revenue from them, and they're gonna cost you $500,000 to get out there. So these little towns, they have really good opportunities out there. I think that one in Carson has 18 lots that could potentially be developed if that gets done. Trainer, I wanna say they're probably gonna be around 20 lots or so. I haven't seen the full design of what's.
Carson's working on 29.
Mhm.
They're building. There's foundations up now, about 8 or 10 of them.
Oh,
We
yeah,
need more
I
people.
forgot about that. The Elton County Roads Department also took care of that bridge in Crescent
Yeah.
too.
That was a pain in the butt for a lot of years. Cause the state came in and put a culvert under it, and then they pulled out.
Well, it's a TJ road.
Get a promotions person and people know more about it.
That doesn't always equate.
Are we done?
Unless there's something else we got.
I thought we were gonna have
Mitch, thanks for putting this together. I think this is, Becky, I guess, thank you.
Yeah, that helped a lot. Matt.
Closed session.
Or Mitch.
I don't know, it's a closed session somewhere.
See you, Matt.
Obviously got changed.
Yeah.
Now, just keep in mind that we will have to do budget amendments, transfers for all of the stuff that's not been budgeted, so we'll have to work closely together to make sure we don't go over our budget and get
When will
everything
that
done
come?
legally.
How far out are we on that?
We just can't go over our budget, so we
So
need
any
to,
of these-
you know, and they
any
can't
of
go over
these
in
are-
service
anybody
areas and
opposed to
departments,
having,
so.
Mark move forward on getting the actual drawings and stuff on that Arrowhead Bridge?
No, he needs
These
to.
guys were talking
needs to do
earlier, they
that.
wanna, when Matt was pitching his
Needs to be
three
struck
employees.
down at all.
I heard, I don't know what reports they want.
Well, just what the final he says
really
he had
like
three
voice
hundred
was
and
being
forty
1.5
thousand
for the
he's gonna
trail.
put back.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
In the
like,
general fund, they wanna know what
I think we
the
need to
final.
get, I don't disagree, I just think we need to get that
Carryover
land
is.
acquisition on Neola or
Yes.
by Weston
So
there.
budgeted versus
Get behind
expended.
that much.
If we can get that one behind us.
I just think
For
that the
that-
bridge.
I think there's like 1.8 in that one right now, right?
Their money, yeah, that they got from out west.
Total,
That
If we can
bridge,
get that back out to Neola, or clear out to Neola from Council Bluffs, I think people will really embrace that.
I think we revisit, I
What
truly
are you
believe we
looking for,
revisit that one.
for, end of year reports?
you were talking about, you wanna know when Matt was talking about, hiring him.
I've got a couple of spreadsheets. I have some that have their budgeted and then their real expenditures. Or I can break it down by department and fund.
I'm more interested in our ending fund balance, beginning and ending fund balance, and the general basic and general supplemental.
And you said you can get.
Well, and you get your fund balance sheets every Tuesday.
You talking for the annual report?
No, is what you guys
Talking
were
about what the
when Matt was
supervisors
giving
want.
us
That's what you're
tips.
saying,
Go back
what's
and find
budgeted
Becky's
and what's
just the-
spent.
just the general-
Something similar like that, it's fine.
What our carryover is.
It had a couple pie charts on it, just kind of showed like, you know, on the pie chart, it showed like the, you know, county attorney's budget was, you know, a big chunk of the pie, and then it showed each department kind of as a pie.
Okay.
And then you could do like what Tim wanted with the beginning and end balances on the main.
Right, July
I'd
1
like to
of,
see what they spent.
July 1 of
I like the first
2020,
one you talked about.
is what was our beginning balance on the general supplemental and general basic. June 30th, then what's our balance of the general supplemental and general basic?
And then you're gonna wanna show somewhere on there percent fund balance, you know, and then I think yours needs to show percent that we're gonna spend their fund balance and investment. So we're making $30 million of investments this next year, so yours will be more of a forecast, yours will be more of what happened.
Yeah, mine's gonna be actual, and then he can do the forecast and the,
That way you can show, here's where we are today, here's where we plan to
This is
be.
where we should be.
And oh, by the way, we didn't raise taxes, we lowered your taxes.
Then when I meet with the departments and stuff, I say, hey, this is where you're at for today.
You know, she had a little line in there too about our credit
I think
rating
that's
going up.
important.
I mean, just think positive, I guess is the best way to do it, you know, so.
well, I'll see what report she has out there.
She put
Like I
something
said,
the Moody's rating was upgraded.
I've done
from
a
that.
couple of them, worked on ransom reports, so
Yeah.
I'll get some more stuff together. It's been
I'm just
kind
thinking
of
if you're the
busy
common
and
person,
crazy
you're
with
opening a
things.
newspaper, like, what generally would you wanna see from your department is kind of what we want, and it just, we wanna highlight successes, I mean. We'll let Matt be doom and gloom.
Did that email go out to all of our department heads?
When do you want that?
I think he had a deadline of 2 weeks maybe?
But to your question with
Let me look.
the bridge, yeah, I think he needs to get, whatever he needs to get done
Some numbers
to see if that,
Passy and Linda.
Numbers
Still-
really working?
yeah.
Mostly
And,
not.
and the same with,
16th, Calvin.
the same with,
16,
John too, I think.
If that's not realistic, just,
You know,
tell him.
Election numbers.
you know,
Numbers.
his is really,
Annual report.
That,
I'll just do it right up.
So if he had a $100,000 increase in steel,
oh, you want from Halsey and Linda, like realistic stuff.
or
Numbers.
I don't know.
not just
No,
the
I don't
increase,
know what numbers.
but also that
You,
The 16.
7,000 vendors were paid.
if you order it, whatever today, when can you
30,000
expect,
voters.
you know, because.
Alright.
you know, it's not just
All right,
steel, it's
get to
everything.
work.
I mean, it's plastic, it's concrete, I mean. it's
Right, but I mean, steel seems to be the one that's out the furthest from what I can tell. You know, I mean, if you can't get it for 8 months, then, you know, you can't really wanna start something in the middle of the winter, but just,
Do we need a decision
For what?
on, I mean, the agenda says discussion or decision to approve capital plan. Do we need anything, or is it just?
The capital plan, accomplish your goal?
well, I think we approve it, but it's,
It's a fluid deal.
yeah, I think it's
I think
just.
as long as we have the understanding that this is a living document, I don't think that's a big deal.
Right.
I mean, the last one.
If you hit next
changed
fiscal
too.
year, we need to
Right.
redo it.
Change it next week.
Like, we need to revote on it.
You want a motion for that? If you do, I'll make it.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
You want a second it?
I'll second it.
So the motion to approve the capital plan 2021,
Okay.
understanding that it is a fluid, living, breathing document.
I like that.
I do too.
Subject.
Yeah, 'cause it's gonna
yeah,
change
subject
without a
to-
doubt.
And Mitch just named me the last page, super wish list.
Okay,
Keep that
any
1.5
other
for the
discussion?
trail.
We're probably gonna be discussing this
We need to
real,
vote on this, Lynn.
right.
To do what?
You in
We're gonna
favor? You in favor?
Yes.
Yeah. We're probably gonna need to get back with this here soon, so I'm gonna call Andy as soon as we get done and see when they can get their deal done on those radios. We need to get that
Yep.
hammered out sooner than later. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign.
I'll move to adjourn.
Hearing none, motion passes.
I'll
Motion
second.
to adjourn. Second.
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Those opposed,
Thanks,
like
Mitch.
sign. Motion passes.
I like that. Thanks, Jana.
I mean, that's